With the rise of AI, there's been so much going on lately, from new AI models to new tools to so many different things. And some of us that aren't so tech founded, or let's just say don't really have a background in programming, might find it hard to get started. And that's why I am going to see how I can help you to get started in less than 30 minutes. And I'm saying you don't really need to know how to code. Today we're going to be working on a very simple, or let's say intermediately complex application. It's going to be a mobile application, actually a web app, and the point is for taking notes. So all you have is the ability to write in your notes as you wish, and the AI automatically allow you to tag stuff. You have a very nice preview that looks clean and formatted. You have tags. You're able to search things out easily with voice, or even type them in natural language because it's powered by AI. So let's get straight to it. But before we do that, we need to make sure that I have food to eat. So let's get a quick word from our sponsor, AE Juice. AE Juice is an all-in-one platform, or let's say plugin, that allows you to get titles, transitions, overlays, LUTs, and so much more at a very, very reasonable price. You can easily get their starter pack. That's basically their plugin for whatever editing software you're using: After Effects, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, even OBS. For some reason, OBS is there. But yeah, name it, your editing software is there. So all you have to do is to get started. I'll drop a link in the description. You can use my link to get a very nice discount. They're apparently running an all access yearly plan, so you probably want to get that. It gives you every single thing they have for the full year at your fingertips. So don't waste time, check it. But first of all, watch this video. Let's go. So the first thing is planning. For this particular idea, I think I remember starting with Claude. I normally use Gemini for all my work. That's just Gemini 2.5 Pro, because I found out that it's, first of all, I love the large context window, and it gets really addicting. Like the fact that you can just dump anything inside and it spits reasonable stuff out. It's awesome. But then for this time around, I was like, okay, why don't I come to Claude? Because Claude is apparently the best at coding. So I came to Claude, and then I was able to get a very good, reasonable idea, and that was where the whole idea of the app came from. And as you can see, I actually tried making Claude give me the project requirement documents, which I'll explain what that is soon. I'll explain what that is soon. Anyway, it didn't work, so I came back to Gemini, which is my normal location here. You can access Gemini by going to gemini.google.com, and you can get access to the Gemini platform. But there's a limit of when you're using Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is their best state-of-the-art model. So because I'm a nice guy and everything we're going to be teaching you today is completely free, you can check it out at aistudio.google.com, which is where I'm basically spending all our time today. aistudio.google.com. Now, when you get to aistudio.google.com, you get met with probably the ability to get an API key and some other things like that. For now, you can avoid that. It doesn't really matter. But what I basically did is I have a bunch of prompts. I use Obsidian as my primary note-taking application. The reason why is because, for example, let me pull up that prompt for you. So you see this prompt, or let's say, let me pull up this document. I think that will be much better. Okay, so if I pull out this document, which is basically what I'm trying to replicate, project requirement document of any application. What project requirement document is just a document that allows you to see what the total usage of the application will be like. So, you want a login page, then from the login page, you go to the dashboard. From the dashboard, you view your notes, blah blah, step by step by step. That's what the project requirement document, something that people normally use in traditional let's say programming workflows. That's how you work with teams. So you assign different tasks to different people. And the thing about vibe coding, I see a lot of people trying to do is they're trying to one-shot things. It's cool, you can watch shots a lot of times. You can actually get reasonable stuff by one-shotting some very powerful models. But you also want to have a fallback, which is how you would ensure that every single feature of the application is properly done. So back to the whole Obsidian thing. When you come to Obsidian, you see, if I go to source mode, this is basically how this text was typed. You don't have to type the whole table like do it in Microsoft Word. All you just have to do is to type some syntax and it will turn up so beautiful. That's why I like Obsidian. But you don't have to use Obsidian. You can just use whatever note-taking application you have. But the long and short is that AI loves Markdown. Notion also works, whatever it is. So anyway, so we have a prompt. The prompt, all these prompts will be in the description, so don't worry about that. So the prompt we're going to be using is the Universal Orchestration Hybrid Prompt version 3. Do you understand? So this prompt All this prompt basically does is that it makes the AI spit out a bunch of things that you'd need. And some of those things that you need include your coding guidelines, project requirement documents, an initial prompt to get the whole development process started, and so much more. So those are the things that prompt will help us do. I hope we're following. So the point is, we're going to come here, we copy this prompt, and actually have what the idea is. So this is the idea of the application. I just copied it straight from Claude, and I'm going to go back here to Gemini, and all I have to do is paste this idea here, and then say, now I need you to fill all this information about this app using this prompt below. That's it. And then all you have to do is just paste the prompt. If you're on Windows View bring up your clipboard so that you can easily iterate through stuff. And if I hit run, by the way, you can choose your models on the right. So you probably click here, and then you can see even Google's best image generation model, Nano Banana, is here. So you can choose your model. We're using 2.5 Pro, which is the state-of-the-art model. And see, that's the reason why I love Gemini. You could actually do this in any other, you could do it in ChatGPT, you can do it in Claude, wherever it is. But from my experience, the large context window of Gemini allows it to spit out a lot, and that's just really cool. Okay, so as you can see, Gemini has basically cooked up the whole document that we need. And all we have to do, like I said, is just to come here to the top and click on copy as markdown. If you're mobile, it probably looks something like this. So you just scroll to the top and you copy. Actually, if you're mobile, I'll advise you get a system. But yeah, if you can't, just copy and you come to your editor of your choice. So let's just create a new note here, and we dumped all this here. You can see how it has formatted everything, and it looks just like the way it was on Google AI Studio. So if you look at what it's saying here, you can see that it's telling us that, oh, this is the project's name, blah blah blah. The truth is that I actually already started this project previously. I recorded like 3 hours worth of footage, and it was terrible. Like, not the product, but it was just the fact that development takes a lot of time. It's not magic. Do you understand? So this video might be sped up and stuff like that, but just be patient with yourself and you get the best results. Anyway, so moving on. It's telling us that, okay, this is what we're going to use. I'm going to use mobile React, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Usually it knows the best thing for you to use, usually, but because we're building a web app and we're going to be using, with the tool we're going to be using doesn't actually care about this upper part. Do you understand? So all we need to copy basically is this project requirement document from here. We'll just copy this whole part down to the last line here, Ctrl C, create a new file, blah blah blah, project requirement document, and paste it here. So this is basically how it will look like. It will just look like this. So you can see it telling us that, oh, user sign up, create notes, blah blah blah, just as we wanted. And then you're going to come back again, scroll down, come to coding guidelines here, and you're going to copy the exact same thing from the beginning of coding guidelines down to the end of coding guidelines here. Boom, just before the prompt. And you do the exact same thing. You dump it in a new file. And then lastly, you're going to have your prompt. Your prompt is called Manus because I used to use an AI agent called Manus when I created this prompt. So you're going to copy this prompt, and as you can see, it basically contains every single thing, including all the coding guidelines and PRD, project requirement documents. So it's not really a big deal. Copy all this, Ctrl C as prompt, and dump it here too as prompt. Very, very simple, very demure, very mindful. If you're finding it hard to understand what I've said, rewatch it again, you understand. So now we're going to move on to the next step, which is getting started in actually developing this application. So what we're going to be using today is Google AI Studio. That's what we're going to be using. So if you come to your right hand side here and you come to build, you just click on build. If you click on build, it's going to open this whole wonderful mighty section. Now in this section, you don't really type anything. You can basically just type, oh, create an application about blah 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 blah, and it's going to create it. But these are some things you need to note. Google AI Studio cannot develop a mobile application for you. It can only develop web applications using Vite, Tailwind CSS, React, or Angular TypeScript, whichever one you want. And you can choose your model, but default is 2.5 Pro. I don't think you can edit it as that now. And yeah, that's basically how it is. And I know this because there was actually a prompt I said that told it that, oh, show me your tech stack. So the prompt was very simple. Make an application, make a website showcasing your tech stack. It's just a way of telling it to show us the kind of tools it uses. And when I ran that prompt, this is why I got a very, very clean UI to some extent that just showed us, oh, these are all the features that it uses. You can see React 18 plus, TypeScript, Tailwind CSS, Gemini API, Vite, and UI UX design, blah, blah, just blah, blah. Do you understand? So that's how I know that things like, for example, remember when we came back here and we're looking at our project requirement document here, you see that it was telling us some stuff about React Native, TypeScript, iOS, but bro, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And when it comes to databases, especially when you're using this workflow, the only database you can kind of use initially is indexed DB. INDEX DB. So that's what you can use, and it's basically a browser related stuff. There's also the default one, that's browser storage, but that one is stuck by about 10 MB. But with IndexedDB, you can get up 10 MB, which is enough for most of your users to use. So anyway, long story short is all we're going to do is we're going to copy this prompt, this orchestration prompt, and we're just going to come to Google AI Studio here, and we're going to dump it in. So we're going to come back here, create a new one. I actually did this exact same task like yesterday night. I just copied and pasted everything, as you can see, and run. There's something I forgot to mention. I see it's thinking right now. It's thinking, outlining the React app, trying to figure out all the wonderful things it can do to make your life better, blah, blah, blah. But let's go back one more step. Now, if you see here, just before, if I came back here and I pasted my prompt, before I uploaded, I can actually add some images as references. I can upload some text files, upload some PDFs as references, maybe like there's information there about your application or your system, whatever it is. There's a way you like to style your stuff. You can do all that here. Very beautiful, very easy, very demure, sensational. But then there's actually a workflow I recently discovered that I think is absolutely sensational. And what that basically is you're going to come here, you're going to tell it that, okay, create a simple React base plate for me. That's what you're going to say. And you're going to hit enter. Now, control enter actually, or just hit the enter button there. The reason why you're doing this is because you understand soon. Just bear with me. Do you understand? You're going to get this. You're going to get this soon. Trust me, you're going to get it. Just chill. So let's come back to the one that was generated. You can see it's writing code live, and it's very, 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 very fast. Very fast. As you can see, it has created most of the documents as we instructed you to. The blah, blah, blah. Everything is there. It's cooking. Now, about the React base plate. Basically, all that is this React base plate. It doesn't really have anything. All it has is just a couple of files. If we switch to code view here, you see there are just a couple of files here. And that's literally all you need. So I'm going to delete this one because I don't want it to be redundant. There's something called mocking up in software development, or even in literally everything that has to do with design and implementation. There's something called mocking up. Mocking up is the ability for you to look at what your application could potentially look like before you actually make the application. Yeah, so that's what a mockup is. Now, the reason why we're doing a mockup is because we don't want to get a random application. We don't get a random application. For example, if you look at whatever this guy is going to cook for us, as you can see, it's actually ended up doing everything. I think I can sign in. Oh, you have your notes. Apparently I can't even, let's create a new note. Let's see what happens. Let's dump this prompt inside here. I manually add my tags, yams and eggs. How many G's are eggs? Anyway, and then you have this horrendously long notes. So you see, this is something, and then you can start iterating from this one. You can start saying, oh, you don't like the way this one is, you don't like the way that one is, and then you're going to waste a lot of time and effort and whatever it is. You know, they're saying if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Anyway, so that's the reason why we don't want to use this method. This method is cool, but it's not going to give you the best results, which is why we're coming back here again and we're gonna delete it. We're gonna delete it. Ugh. I wanted to show you what the present application looks like. So you see, you cannot compare that to this sensational masterpiece that I've cooked up. Can you see how clean this guy looks? Look how clean this is. Can you see the tags? They automatically generate. They automatically. And then I can click on save. And then when I hit save, I can come back here, view the notes. We can see that everything looks cute, demure to some extent, stuff like that. So that's kind of the vibe we're going for. You feel me? That's kind of the vibe we're going for. So we need to ensure that we are able to get good, consistent results every single time without stress. Do you understand? Every single time without stress. So to do that, we're going to do the mock-up phase. Now, for the mock-up phase, oh, by the way, this is going to be our platform, boys, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be where we do everything. We edit, we do a lot of things on this platform. I'm getting there. Just a little bit. Anyway, back to what we're saying. So what we're going to do is you're going to come here, and all you're going to write in your search bar is chat.quen.ai. Quen is a Chinese model. Whatever you think about that, stealing your data, whatever it is, I don't really care. But the model is wonderful. And the best use I found for the model are source coding, which I actually don't really do that much here, is to mock up things, man. Mocking up on Quen is sensational. Like, it's chef's kiss. And all you have to do is to come to the top here, and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to choose Quen 3235B, A22B. That's what you're going to use. And if you thought OpenAI was shit as making model names, welcome to the Chinese world, where model names are rather poetic. Anyway, so what we're going to do here is very, very simple. You're going to start by clicking on thinking, and you're going to say, I need you to look at this PRD, project requirement document, and give me a list of all pages of this. Copy your project requirement document as it is, Ctrl C, and dump that here. Boom, and hit enter. And what's going to happen is that Quen is going to do some sorcery and basically break down all you're going to need, all the different pages, basically all the pages of your mockup. And depending on how complex your application is, you're talking about as basic as 2 pages to as complex as, I don't know how many pages is on the JSTAR platform. The JSTAR platform, theoretically, under docs, back onto docs, under mockups, we should get, how do I even check this out? Okay, think alt this. Yup. Nothing less than 133 files. 133 files equals to, I think, give or take, there are some duplicates, but that's nothing less than 100 distinct pages on the JSTAR platform. That's how incredibly complex the application is to build. That's why it's taking a while. Anyway, so as you can see, it tells us that, there's a sign up page, there's a note list, there's a search list, there's a blah, 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 blah. And it tells you all the pages that are needed and the ones that do not need a page. So blah, blah, blah. And I already did this previous. So the long and short is that we need just 5 pages. And what I did next is, nice, so you're going to write this prompt. So I need you to create a mockup for each of these pages. So you're going to write that one by one. So I tell you next, and then you do the next page. Do you understand? And then you're going to write, I'm expecting a simple HTML, CSS, Tailwind.js file that I can copy and paste. And then you're going to end it with, this should be a mobile first application. Do you understand what I'm saying? With a dope, colorful UI. That's what I wanted. I wanted a colorful UI that was not just monolithic. Does that make sense to you? So I wanted a colorful UI. I wanted it to mobile first. But there's actually a mistake with this prompt, and there's something I should have done, which is there should also be a PC version. Do you understand what I'm saying? So instead of writing mobile first, you're going to write make it responsive for mobile too. Audience, you can write mobile first and make sure that the desktop version is also as good. Do you understand? And Quen did a bunch of thinking, and after a bunch of thinking, he went and generated this wonderfully long HTML file, which is about 300 lines of code. And as a matter of fact, it actually didn't even look that long to me, especially given the fact that the average page, if you come to docs, come to mockups, same location, let's just go pick it. Can you see? If you scroll down, can you see how long this is? See, 600 lines, and it's just like, bro, what? 910 lines, bro. No actual way. If you look at this mockup is sensational. And just so you know, I've actually implemented this feature already. This feature is ready to go. As a matter of fact, if you look at JSTAR platform right now, which is this, if I come to the admin route, let's go to admin. Let's go to that particular page. Let's just go to admin route and system diagnostics. Boom. If you come to system now, you can see that it's working with live data. Okay, it's loading, pulling stuff from the database. Everything is working cool. Everything is working clean, man. Ooh. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this copy here. Just click on copy, and you're going to come to a new folder on your system. Just create a new folder and call it Mockups. You're going to right click, create a new note. For example, new note. I want to make this as universally possible as the internet. So create a new note, and you open the notes, and all you have to do is just to paste the code you've written. Just paste it and save it. Then you close the notes, and when you come back outside, you're going to change the name of the note to whatever you want to name it. But you're going to end it with .html and delete the .txt at the ending. And once you hit enter, I tell you don't confirm, and by the time you hit enter again, you see that it runs perfectly. Now you see that it's wide and bogus. The reason why it's wide and bogus is the mistake I was telling you, which is the fact that I told you to do the whole mobile first. But aside from that, if you press F12 on your keyboard, you press F12, or I think you can get developer options from here. Where's that? Well, for who they use shortcut to chim. Oh, found it. Ctrl Shift I. Come to more tools, and you get developer tools. Good. Yours will probably not look like this. So you're going to click on this option. That's toggle device emulation, and you get a phone. This is an S8 Plus because it has a very nice ratio, and you can see how beautiful everything looks. So yeah, that's basically the mockup that I was able to cook up in one shot. But you see, that was actually a mistake because I wanted it to do 5 pages, and bro ended up doing the full thing. So anyway, long story short is that I just said next, and it started doing everything properly. So it did the sign up page. I copied that as well, the note editor, and then lastly the note details view, and it did all this. And then when I was like, oh, next, it's like, oh, I've done everything, and then he just decided to flex on me and do one last page, which was really low-key crazy. So let's see, everything is here. So you can see this is the new what's it called, this is the new home page that was made, the whole list page. Then this is what it looks like when you open the note to view it in details. Then you come here, this is how your note taking section kind of looks like from the mockup, but you can edit it. And then this was the flex he made. Guy, Quinn is just too good at styling. There's nothing you want to tell me. Quinn is the good at styling. Anyway, moving on. Now we have all our mockups here, just as we've wanted them to be. These 5 particular. Now what you're going to do is very, very simple. You're going to come here to your Google AI Studio, this copy app section here on your React base plate, and you're going to change this to whatever you want to name it. So we're going to call this Slate AI V2, something like this, and click on save. And now once you hit save, it's going to save this. Then you come to the code view, and all you're gonna do is you're going to copy these mockups from here. You're just going to hold it, drag and drop it into this section. Voila. Very, very simple, demure, and easy to use. No stress, nothing. Just easy to use stuff. The next step is you're going to use a prompt that I'm also going to let you have in the description. What it just says is start. It's called a start prompt studio. Boom. Exactly. So basically all the prompt tells you that, oh, you're an expert senior front-end developer using Tailwind. Blah. Your primary objective is to build a complete user interface using all these blah, 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 blah. Then you're going to create this file. I'm just going to copy the full prompt, and you're going to tell it that, by the way, in the prompt, it tells you that you should look at the mockups for, see, it tells you to look at the mockups directly. That's why you need to kind of follow that whole style. So you're going to copy this, and you're just going to hit run. I want to add a little instruction at the top just for this particular case. I'm going to tell it to ignore the all.html. Then I just hit run. So I just hit Ctrl Enter, and we let it cook. And at the end of everything, we should have a very reasonably looking, but it should actually just give us a bunch of documents, and we should have our mockups. They should start being implemented in seconds. So you can see it's starting to write the Gemini.md file. You can see that it's done creating the Gemini.md file just as we told it to, and it has basically listed out all the different steps that it's going to use to do this whole mockup thing. So it's going to start from here, do this, do sign up, do that, blah blah blah. You can just say start, but ignore the all.html file, and just hit enter and run. So then you have to click save at your own will. So you don't just click save every time. You make sure that everything is working and you like how it looks before you hit save. Because if you hit save before you don't like what it looks, you're cooked, because you can't do. And you kind of get a sense of how the deployment, the whole development works. And then we move to a version I've actually worked on yesterday night, and then you see how far I've gone and the things I did bit by bit. I'll just guide you through it as fast as I can so that you kind of know what to do when you get to this situation. So you can see it's trying to refine the sign-up page. It's trying to work on that based on the mock-up. So we're not just getting that worldly design, we're getting a clean, aesthetically pleasing UI. Save this. I love this note, man. But I feel it's a bit too big, if you ask me. I feel it's taking too much space. So, and you know, for anything, like, for example, look at how this is taking too much space. All I just need to do is to come back here. Just right, I noticed that the what are the stuff's called again? I've forgotten the name. And the cards on the note list page are a bit too big and it takes too much space. So maybe give me the ability to choose different views. So a list view, a card, and a smaller card view that is kind of horizontal, vertical, sorry. So like 3 cards per row and stuff, something like that. And I'm just going to take a screenshot. That's the beauty of this stuff. You take a screenshot of what you're seeing. You can paste that here because Gemini is multimodal, and hit enter. Imagine if I wasn't recording all this while. I'll just take myself to heaven. I was good. You see, it has written the first batch of code, and you see if you change devices here, you change to mobile, you can see that it has implemented the sign-in page. I don't think the login page is done yet. Okay, nice. Now do this for the rest of the mockups. Ideally, you want to do this one by one, but I'm trying to rush it so you don't really want to rush the process. Say create account. Does this work? It doesn't work yet. Okay, good. So excellent. So it's moving to login, blah blah blah. See, yeah. So it's going to write the code for that, and she's writing it as fast as it can. Whereas on this end, let's see if the whatever we did implemented. Aha, you are Sonu de Zua. You see? Very, very demure and mindful in it. So let's just create a bunch of notes and save. Nice. So you can see it's doing 2 instead of 3, but I don't have any issues, guy. I don't have any issues. That's clean. That's really clean. See the list view. The list view is actually very demure. You have this whole version here, and you have this version here. Nice. Couldn't ask for less. A bit more. Couldn't ask for more. Now we see we have a bunch of pages that have been implemented. I should be able to create an account, and we're in basically. Yeah, this guy got it the first try. New notes, the note, and I don't know where that went to, but whatever it is. And this is basically how you get everything working. Create a new note. Everything is working as it is. Now the next step in this whole development process is this. What you're going to do now is, you can see that to some extent, it actually did not obey what we said because it still went to pick stuff from the old. Anyway, what we're going to do now here is you're going to come back to your project requirement document here, and you're just going to copy it one by one and ensure that everything works. And all you're going to do is you're basically going to come here and be like, now let's make sure that everything is working well. That is the functionalities of stuff is working well. Then you're going to immediately tell it, let's use indexed DB for database. So you can start from here, because I feel like putting database at the beginning is not a bad idea. But yeah, at this point, you're just going to tell it that you should implement data, cross-checking that they are all working. So you're going to test it and ensure that everything is actually working as described. By the way, this application will be available for you to try out. Link should be in the description. So that should not be a big deal. Yeah, so basically at this point now, you can see that it has finished running. And all I just did was, after I ran the prompt, it fixed a bunch of errors and it came up with this. And now at this point, what it just does is like gives us this page. So it starts at the notes page. This is something I actually noticed. It starts at the notes page, which isn't bad. So you create a new note, you type whatever you want to type into it, and you can hit save. You can come here, add a tag that you wish. Just come here, add a tag. I don't know how to add a tag. I don't think add a tag works right now. Yeah. Yep, tags don't work right now. We're going to go through everything one by one. We're going to ensure that every single functionality works as you wish for it to work. So I'm just going to run through everything with you to ensure that everything works on the one that we're actually deploying. Step 1, can I add a new note? I can actually add a new title. This was something I manually added myself. And yeah, I can add a new note and I can type inside it and it's fine. Can I add tags? Yes, at the very bottom, I can come here and manually add tag like new notes, for example. And I think I can hit, once I hit the comma, it adds to new notes. I've already implemented the AI tags. That's why it automatically added, but it's fine. And then I can preview it. So as you can see, it's previewed and it looks very demure and sensational. And it uses Markdown to preview stuff. So that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know how much of this video I'll keep on using, but here's the takeaway. I hope you've learned a lot. And right now we're just going to move to what it would look like. Hey. And yeah, that's basically the application at this point. So I'm going to save this now. And apparently you can save it to GitHub straight up, which I do not know how that works. But apparently you can. So I guess you can, but I can't see how to. But let me show you how I know how to. So you just click on download app here. You open it in your file explorer, however you please to. And then let me do this ending part. Good. And all you're going to do is you're going to right click on this and you're going to extract to a folder, to that folder. Yes, replace all. And for example, this is this folder now. You're going to right click on this. You're going to open it in your IDE, preferably something like VS Code or whatever it is you want to use. So I'm going to open VS Code now. I'm actually using Windsurf, but you can use VS Code. And when you use VS Code, you can install an extension called Cline, C-L-I-N-E, Cline. It's an AI thingy. So you're going to click on Cline and just install it. It's a good plugin. And the reason why you're installing it because you actually sometimes they give you free models to use. Like for example, right now, Grow Code Fast 1 is available, and you have Code Supernova is available too, which is a multimodal agent. So both of them are free to use for now. And if possible, you can still use Gemini models here. You can come here under Gemini, you choose your model 2.5 Pro or 2.5 Flash or Flashlights. The lower you go, the dumber the model. But you'll be able to come here back to the Gemini stuff. You click on Get API Key, and then when you click on Get API Key, you'll be able to choose create a new API key or if whatever, and then it will give you an API key, and you copy the API key. Make sure you save it. And you'll be able to use that and bring it back into Cline. And when you get back into Cline, you'll be able to save it here and use Gemini 2.5 Pro. But anyway, using here, just they give you some free tokens. Don't waste it. Just use the free models. Anyway, moving on, we're going to make sure that we just rectify and clean up all errors. So to do that, we're going to open our errors section. That's here. Just click on this error stuff here. And we're going to look at what all the errors are related to and see if we can fix it. So it shouldn't be that hard to do. You can select all the errors here, right click and be like add to client. But I think most of the errors that we're having is because we've not installed Node and its components. So you can come to your browser here and you're going to get to Node download like this, and then you're going to download the latest version, the latest LTS version, I think. So you download it and you install it and you run through all the installations, and that will be fine depending on what operating system you're in. And then once you're done, you just come here and write npm. I think you'll be able to write node. You should actually be able to write node space -v, and you see your version. So you can see I'm on 20.19.4, which is not the LTS version. There's another version. My network's bad. I don't know why it's not loading, but yeah. Anyway, aside from that, so you're going to write npm install, and then when npm install runs, and once it's done running, you should have your whole thing installed adequately. So that should resolve some of the errors we're having here actually, because usually there should be no errors usually. Then while this is installing, we're going to come here and we're going to get to Vercel. Vercel is where we're going to be deploying our application to. So you're going to create a Vercel application. It's actually free to use. And I think, how do I do this stuff again? I've not done this in a while. Anyway, let's see. So this is me, and you're going to come. This app is terrible. I mean, it's beautiful. Sorry. Code reviews, Matchbox, blah blah blah. Get started. Nope, I don't want. Thank you. So you're going to add a new project. Add a new project, and for this new project, we're going to use one. I already linked my GitHub repository to it. So, for example, I can put the new JStar platform here, or for example, we can put the Slate AI. So that's what we're going to use. So if I open my GitHub, what you're going to do is you're going to open your GitHub, blank GitHub like this, and you're going to basically come and click on the plus icon, create a new repository. You name it whatever you feel like naming it, yams, and you make sure that it's not that repository named yams, and you just click on, you leave it as public. Actually, you leave it as public, add readme, blah 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 blah. Actually, I don't know, can you make it private? I don't know if Vercel allows you to access stuff that's private. I don't think you can access stuff that's private, so you have to make it public, open source in it. So anyway, make it public, and you just click on create repository. And when you create the repo, you'll be able to come here and click on this. Yep, just copy this, and once you copy this, it would sort things out. So yeah, you see what I said, all the errors are gone now, and you should actually be able to just run npm run dev, and immediately we run it, we'll get some errors for sure, like the fact that Gemini has not been configured and some other things. But aside from that, and everything should load up as expected. You go to F12 on the mobile view, see how clean the UI is. Everything works as we wanted it to work. Anyway, so now aside from this, the next step will be to push it to Vercel. So we should be able to come to Vercel here. We should see the application here. Can I see updates instantly, imports, and now that Vercel is imported, see project name Slate AI, and we're putting it under this team framework. I think the framework is actually meant to be Vite. I think root directory, build and output settings, environmental variables. So basically, when you're here, remember I told you that things will not work as you want them to at the moment. That's because our local.env file here doesn't contain our Gemini API key. So we're going to put in one, but we don't put it here. We can just put one here. But if you're using this locally, you can just put in your API key here and it should work. So let me try that actually. Let me try putting an API key. Now you save this. If I try running the application again, those errors I got should not come up. Refresh. Oh man, oh, I'm not running it. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, run dev. Let's see. The errors I got should not come up. Let's see. Hello, how are you, bro? Okay, good. Yeah, it's working. Exactly. It's working sensationally. With that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to come here and you're just going to push this change that we've made. We've basically made it better. We're going to push all these changes. We're just going to write a very simple commit message. Anyway, we'll come back here, and then under here, you're just going to put in your value for the API key. We're going to write Gemini API key and drop an API key here and just hit deploy. Yeah, anyway, you can check out JStar platform at your liberty, I guess. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to learn how to color grade and things, I have some videos here. If you want to check out my review of some other AI models, those videos are somewhere here too. Don't forget to try out and use my discount codes below to get awesome discounts on AEGC's platform. So make sure you do that, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you drop a comment telling me what you learned and what you think I can do to make videos better for you guys. Bye.